You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to The Lyndia Grant Show. We are here again this Friday with Dr. Julianne Marvel. And then in our second half, we're going to be talking to Monique Pearson about people with autoimmune diseases. She wrote a book and she's having a conference. So let's go to Dr. Julianne Malvo here on Think on These Things to see what she has to say about what has been going on over the last week.
Well, greetings, Lyndia. It's great to hear. It's great to be with you.
Yes.
Lots to talk about, but I'm going to try to drill down to just a couple of topics. As you know, last week I was in Chicago to attend the homegoing services of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson. It was a very moving 2 days, actually. The main service was held at the House of Hope, which was built by Reverend James Meeks. And he shared that when he first started working on the House of Hope, they had just put up the skeleton of it. And he wanted to show Reverend, he was a protege of Reverend's. In fact, at one point in time, it was thought that he would succeed Reverend as a president of PUSH. But that didn't happen. As you may know, there 2 or 3 people at various points in time were considered to replace Reverend. Not replace him, but really free him up so he could do other things. But it never really worked out. But in any case, Meek said when he showed the House of Hope, which is way out on 114th Street in Chicago, to Reverend said, I'm going to be, my funeral is going to be held here. Because it's a huge place. It holds 10,000 people. But of course, with 3 presidents being there, security was very high. Some people weren't able to get in. It was very challenging. But the service was just amazing. Most amazing to me, both days, was the music.
Yes.
Stevie Wonder came and he spoke and sang and spoke and sang. It was so cool. It was just really good. Kim Burrell, you know, she knows how to bring the house down.
Yes.
And of course, Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson said, "A change is going to come." It was an exciting opportunity for all of us. First of all, a lot of people who worked in the campaigns. I worked in both 84 and 88. A lot of people worked in the campaigns. It was like all home week, you know, reunion. And the speeches, of course, were the speeches. We had the civil rights leaders. Sharpton spoke on Friday. Mark Morial and Derek Johnson from the NAACP spoke on Saturday. Lottie Dottie and everybody was there. Everybody didn't get on the podium. A lot of people wanted to. But, you know, the program, as I said, we went from 11 to 4 on Friday.
I saw both of them, Dr. J. I've seen them twice.
And on Saturday, we went from 10 until 2. But some people said it was long. It was long. But guess what? Reverend Jackson, he's not a person that you could reduce to 1 word or 2 words.
No.
So you basically, from that perspective, he deserved every moment and then more. I just wish some of the people had been more mindful of time. Like they had this president from Colombia.
Some were too long, yes, they were.
Well, he didn't speak English, so he had a translator. So people forget when you have a translator, you have to give them or allow double the time.
Yeah.
Because anyway, he was long, and he said in the middle of his speech, "I didn't know Reverend Jackson." I'm like, so why are you here? I mean, I didn't say that out loud. Well, maybe I did say it out loud, but he didn't hear me.
I know, that was in your head.
You know, it's like, well, why are you here then? I'll tell you this. We can talk about the presidents, you know, Clinton and Biden and Obama. We could talk about those, and I might. But I'll tell you the speech that hit me the hardest and made me cry was Isaiah Thomas, the basketball player.
Me too.
He talked about how
wasn't that the sweetest thing?
It's sweet, and it was just it was hard. It was to me. It reminded you of who Reverend Jackson was.
Oh yeah.
The story he told was how he and his mother were standing in a food line,
genuine, yes,
waiting to get food, and see that was very transparent.
Yes,
he's a big basketball player now. He didn't have to tell that.
No, he didn't.
But he said they were waiting in a food line Reverend stopped to speak to his mother because she had marched with him on some occasion. So he stopped to speak to her, and then he got down on his knees to look Isaiah in the eye and say to him, and he said he was about 10 years old.
That's
Said, "You
right.
are somebody." He said, "Repeat after me, I am somebody."
Mm-hmm.
And he did. And he said he didn't realize until later. He said Reverend was telling him he was somebody in a world that was telling him that he was nobody.
Mm-hmm.
He said they didn't even want you to go to schools. They didn't want this. He said, but Reverend Jackson reinforced that in him. And
Mm-hmm.
I just, not a, I'm president of Push Excel, which is the education arm of
Yes.
Rainbow. And as president of Push Excel, it just reminded me how much Reverend really loved children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have an oratorical contest and broke it into three categories. And one category is under six. So little children have memorized key speeches under six. And
Mm-hmm.
if they were excellent, Reverend would ask them, they might be at a luncheon. He said, come back to dinner and do it again. And, of course, the kids love doing it. So that, it was those kind of moments that were really important. As I said, Clinton was great. He told personal stories. Um, Biden, I hate to say, but he demonstrated why he could not be president.
He did. He did, Dr. J. All I could think about was that's why you couldn't be the president because you're the guy. Oh, you don't even know what you need to say no more.
He repeated himself several times. I wish he had brought Jill up to the stage with him
Mm-hmm.
because then she probably could have helped him. She often would help him. But
Yeah,
anyway, he was there. Obama, frankly, I was not that enthusiastic about, but I mean, he gave a good speech, and he never did this when he was president. He finally admitted that he would not have been president were it not for Reverend Jesse Jackson.
he did. First time I
But
heard
he
him
never
say it.
first time we never heard him say that before.
No.
So so there you have it. Um, there's so many highlights and just so many, you know, the Maxine was great.
Mm-hmm.
She, like everybody else, went longer than she was supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
but she was great and it was important. The two of them were so close. Um,
Well,
were
I
so close.
congratulate you for your name being called because I heard him call your name. So thank the Lord for that.
Yeah, I appreciated that. That was C.K. Hoffler, who's the president of the board, the big
Mm-hmm.
board, and I
Yes.
have the little board. And well, it's a funny story. I won't tell it on the air, but about somebody who bogarted up there, wasn't supposed to be there, just bogarted. And
Mm-hmm.
then someone came to me and said, "Well, if he's up there, how come you're not up there?" I said, "I don't roll like that."
That's
You
right.
know, there were hundreds of people who had something to say about Reverend Jackson. I'm certainly was not going to walk up to in the auditorium and stand there until somebody told me come on up. No, I wasn't going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what else to tell you, Lyndia. Ask me something because there's just so much.
No, it's okay. You can go on with the rest of the news because, see, I've watched it 2 or 3 times already. Greenville, South Carolina. I watched the big memorial service and I watched the funeral. I'm a Jesse Jackson fan and I wanted to be there. So all I can say is just do your thing, Dr. J.
Well, as I will say, it was great. That's all I
Hmm.
can say. It was great.
I enjoyed
Um,
every minute.
and it was a gathering of all kind of people, intergenerational.
Hmm.
Little Ashley, Reverend's daughter, not by Jackie, little Ashley, and she
Yes.
shouldn't say little, she's 24. She did an amazing job
Yes, you
speaking.
did.
She is that young lady is poised to do great things.
Yes, she is.
She's smart, you know, and she's well spoken. But all the kids that what you saw to me when the children spoke,
Hmm.
what you saw was all the aspects of Reverend's personality and how each
Yes.
of them got a different piece of it.
Uh-huh.
And that was just intriguing as well.
And
Uh,
Jonathan really turned it out at the final service, didn't he?
oh, oh, he did. He really did. It
Talking
was a
about Rise, Jesse Rise. He tore that thing up.
He did, and that was a good hook.
Yes, it
Rise,
was.
Jesse, rise, because
Hmm.
what everybody was talking about was what's next. And
Hmm.
of course, Yusuf is in charge. Now he's the president and CEO. Who knows what's next, really?
That's
But we
right.
but we do know that there will have to be some organizational auditing, which Reverend had pushed for even before he made his transition, to try to streamline some of the things that are going on. So there will be some organizational auditing, but I think that everybody is committed to the mission. I know that the Push Excel board, we, will continue. We've given out millions of dollars in scholarships, and we'll continue to raise money to give scholarships to our young people. And that's really important to us. So we'll
Wonderful.
continue that work. And I think that the CDF, the Citizens Education Fund, will continue their work, and they primarily focus on the automotive project in Detroit. Um, so the beat goes on, but rise, Jesse, rise. Yes, indeed. That is what Reverend would probably want people to glom onto.
That's right.
So now I'm going to pivot, Lyndia, because no, I'm not going to pivot for a minute. A lot of people left Saturday going to Selma because, of course,
Bloody
it's the
Sunday.
61st anniversary of Bloody Sunday and the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So a lot of people left Saturday to get there for Sunday so they could participate in that. I understood that there was going to be a meeting today of some of the leaders to talk about the Black agenda. What should be the Black agenda? And so I'm interested to see what comes out of that. But that annually, Reverend Jackson was there. He was even there last year, even though he had to be in a wheelchair.
That's right.
But he didn't care. He was there. So that's Reverend Jackson. He wants to be where. Now, the other thing I want to say quickly about Saturday is that there were many tributes to Mrs. Jackson.
Yes, it was.
And that's one of the things people always think about the leaders, but what is the cost to their families? What is the cost to them? I don't know what Santita said to me once, Daddy missed several of my graduations. Now, he tried not to. We're all sure about that, but when the movement calls, the movement calls. And so when they say rise, Jesse, rise, this is a note to all of us to rise.
That's right.
In other words, to continue to work. Continue to work. And so I think about Reverend Jackson in this particular moment because that man who lives in a house that enslaved people built bombed Iran a week or so ago. Bombed Iran. We've lost, as of today, Tuesday. People know we tape on Tuesdays, we play on Friday, but Tuesday we've lost at least 7 Americans. How many more are we going to lose? This, and they didn't do anything to provoke the bombing, but no, Israel went after them, and the United States joined Israel. Israel is going to get us in a lot of trouble in the long run because Israel is aggressive towards those other Middle Eastern countries. And frankly, I think this was unnecessary. The president said this is funny, the reason that he bombed is because he had a vibe. He had a vibe.
Right.
And so given his vibe, he decided to go on a bomb. Now, this is going to cost us in the long run. It's costing us already now. Oil prices went above $100 a barrel. They've been above but the highest we've seen in about 5 years is 120. And at least 3 times in the past couple of days is exceeded $120 dollars per barrel of oil. What does that mean? Already, if you drive, you've already seen gasoline prices at the pump go up by 50 cents.
Go up. That's right.
In the course of just a week, nothing has happened. We have oil reserves here, but just based on the news and based on the ignorance, gasoline pump prices are up. We're already talking about inflation. We're already talking about people at the bottom and in the middle really not being able to afford things like groceries. This is going to put inflationary pressure on all kinds of goods and services. And that is a challenge for your ordinary working person who, let's say, has an older car and is commuting. What they can expect to see is about a 30% increase in their cost of commuting.
Mm-hmm.
And that for some people, that's a lot. Well, for most people, it's a lot, but for some, it may even be insurmountable.
Mm-hmm.
So this president said rising oil prices are a small price to pay.
Oh, I know he did because he doesn't have to worry about that.
Exactly. Small price to pay for U.S. and world security and peace. This is a
Mm-hmm.
direct quote from that president. Um, all I can say about him is not much.
He has
Like,
not empathized in any way. I don't care
no.
what it is. He always tell you it's okay. You can make that little sacrifice. You can get less toys for Christmas, and you can, he act like it's okay.
Well, it's okay for him. Like you said, he doesn't have that expense. He's a multi whatever heir, millionaire, billionaire. So it doesn't matter to him. But the
Mm-mm.
person who's making an average income, and they commute, this
It
matters to
matters.
them.
Yes,
And
it
a
does.
lot of people, I'm talking to one of my friends who is an environmentalist, and she said, well, maybe more people will use public transportation. Well, there's some places you can't get to on public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just um, selfishness. How long is this going to last? That
Mm-hmm.
man has said it could be up to 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's not paying attention to, and a lot of people aren't, is when you get in, when you break it, you got to fix it. They have already made a mess in Iran, made a mess, and now who's going to fix it?
Right.
The reason why we ended up in Afghanistan for so long, remember that we were there for almost more than a decade,
Mm-hmm.
is because we bombed and bombed and bombed, and then we had to fix it. And then we couldn't. And so we were stuck there. Now, and again, if we talk about who pays, the military is disproportionately black.
Mm-hmm.
About
Taxpayers.
about 30% of the enlisted forces are black.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are going to be the young men and women who are on the ground.
That's right.
And that so this whole thing is really quite frightening. We could be plunged into a war. The other thing that has happened is that Iran has been bombing their contiguous neighbors, countries that are next to them. I don't know why they're doing it, but basically, we're looking at world instability,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really it's frightening. And a lot of people are scared, are talking about not leaving their house, and we don't know what kind of weaponry Iran has. Do
Mm-hmm.
they have long range missiles? I don't want to scare anybody, but we don't know what they have. And so this becomes a problem as well. So while the battlefield is overseas, the bill arrives here in the United States. Not only, but they're talking about now hundreds of billions of dollars
Mm-hmm.
to spend on this. Now, we don't have enough money for health care. We don't have enough money for education, but we have enough money to run around bombing folks.
Yes.
This makes no sense. And so I think about Reverend Jackson in moments like this because I already know what he would say,
Mm-hmm.
and it would rhyme too. And speaking of rhyming, I didn't mention two other parts of this service that were really cool. Well, at least one, which was Chris Tucker. Chris
Oh yeah,
Tucker,
I enjoyed Chris.
he
Mm-hmm.
was funny,
Wasn't he
and
good?
he was funny, and he was respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, he
he talked
was.
about anything Reverend said.
Impact. That was impact.
Anything Reverend said rhymed.
Uh-huh.
He talked about that. That was funny. And he also imitated Reverend mumbling. Because
Uh-huh.
Reverend would mumble on you. And so he talked about that. So it was a very light, nice, light note
Yes, it
uh,
was.
for everything because it was a very heavy 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so we needed some things that were light, that were not burdensome. And
All
we were
right.
able
Well,
to get that.
all right. Well, I think that's our time for today. But thank you so much for that update, Dr. J.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a blessed rest of the, just have a blessed.
All right. Thank you. Have a
Okay.
good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to go to a commercial break and we'll be back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at Health, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
Health assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. it ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired. But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it, be inspired.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show, our podcast show. We always take a portion of the show to go on my radio show as well. So I always ask my guests to let's give them the first 15 minutes, exciting, a little bit of everything, and then we can go further into questions as we go along. And then when folks want to hear the more detailed answers, they can go to the podcast. But it serves a two-purpose, and they know I say this every time. So I am so pleased that I was able to meet Monique Pearson when I was being honored in Maryland. But I'm going to tell you who she is. Monique is the founder of Soaring, like Eagle Soar, Soaring Without Limits Enterprises. She is an Army veteran, a mindset coach, author, and international speaker who empowers women to break through self-imposed limitations and live boldly. I love that. As a creator of the anthology Beyond the Diagnosis, and I love the promo, Stories of Living and Thriving, she is using her voice and her own MS, multiple sclerosis diagnosis, to build community, inspire hope, and amplify the stories of women living with autoimmune disorders. She does it through speaking, coaching, travel experiences, and her podcast. Monique helps women elevate their mindset, expand their vision, and explore life without limits. Welcome to the show, Monique.
Well, thank you, Dr. Lyndia, for having us. Super happy to be here.
And I'm so happy to get a chance to talk to you all about two things. One is going to be your upcoming conference, and that's why I just love the topic of your conference. What is the name of it? I'm looking in my notes. Past the diagnosis, living past the diagnosis.
It's Beyond the Diagnosis.
Beyond the Diagnosis. I knew it was close.
Living and Thriving.
And so Dr. Xenia Barnes is a social and behavior scientist. She's also going to be a part of that conference, and she's here today to help talk. Let me tell you a little bit about Monique. Let me see. I'm going to go to
first interview. Dr. Lyndia Barnes is a faith leader. She's Reverend, speaker, and community advocate, dedicated to helping individuals find healing, purpose, and spiritual alignment. Through her ministry and leadership, Dr. Barnes creates spaces for transformational conversations that empower people to live authentically and walk boldly in their calling. She's also the visionary host of the Beyond the Diagnosis Conference, where faith, wellness, and community come together to support women navigating autoimmune disorders. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Barnes. Welcome to today's show.
Good afternoon to you as well, and thanks again for having us.
Indeed, indeed. I want to talk to you first just because you're wearing a breathing thing. Talk to us about that.
Sure. So, as those who will be able to see and those who are listening in, I am oxygen dependent, so I do have an oxygen cannula on, and that is because I have been in 2021 I was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis in both of my lungs, so I will need to have a double lung transplant. I only have 34% functionability between both of my lungs. However, that has not defined me and will not stop me from continuing to thrive and inspire not only myself but others. And so that's what brings me here, but that's also what speaks to my heart and why I definitely answered the call and wanted to partner with Monique with Beyond a Diagnosis, so that people who are living with long-term illnesses can see that your disability does not define who you are.
I love it. This is so good. Monique, you shared that when you were first diagnosed with MS, you asked God, why me? And later that question shifted to, why not me? What happened in your faith journey that allowed that shift to take place?
One, I think anyone who has dealt with a diagnosis that may be with you for the rest of your life questions why you have it. And for me, I didn't even know anyone who had multiple sclerosis. I had no knowledge, background, information at all about autoimmune disorders because it didn't touch my world. So
tell listeners a little bit about MS in case they don't know, because I don't know a lot about it.
So multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disorder where basically, I'm going to put it in simple terms. Think of a cord that you use for your cell phone and that plastic coating that covers the wires in the cord. So equate the cord to our nervous system, and that cord on our nervous system, we have myelin, which protects our nervous system. For us, that is being attacked. Your body is attacking your nervous system and cracking away at that myelin on your nervous system. So that is what's happening. So your short wiring, depending where that myelin in the nervous system is attacked, it affects your vision, it affects your memory, can it affect as far as your bladder system, pretty much any part of our body where our nervous system, which is throughout our body, depending on where that damage takes place, that is what happens in a short, easy to comprehend description. So it shows up differently for everyone because it depends where that scarring or where that myelin has been attacked and removed. Far as for those of us who have MS.
Well, you look so good. You were participated in the Miss Corporate America. That's why I think it's like you're walking by faith and not by sight. You're not dealing with the diagnosis. You and Dr. Barnes, you all are saying life goes on, and you're going on. I heard somebody say on the Jesse Jackson funeral, you're kicking down the doors. So you're not waiting for anything. You're going on, and I love that. And and God He honors that, and that's a good thing.
That's why I said I think that's why we're here today, because you said one thing that most people say, I see you, you look good, and I don't see nothing wrong with you.
No, not
and
a
that
thing.
is one of the things, like far as the invisible things that people can't see. So they make the assumption that nothing's wrong with you and that's okay, which many women feel as if they don't have anyone to relate to because of that, because you may not be able to see the impact of their illness. But I'm just happy we're here to be here today, because there are some women who feel once they get the diagnosis that their dreams are stopped. Their family, if they desire to have one, they can't happen. So us being here as living witnesses today that you can still accomplish all that God has called you to do if you're willing to continue to keep marching forward.
Amen. Dr. Zena, as a faith leader, how do you help women reconcile the tension between believing in God's plan and facing a diagnosis that changes their life? Come on with it now, Reverend. Tell us what you got to say.
Well, I love that. I love that question because it allows me to be able to speak my truth and share my walk and share my journey. And that is the way, that's the best way I can connect with individuals as well as bring them along so they can see. There was times where I was in an extremely dark place, but it's my faith. It's my faith and my belief and my connection and reconnection with God that allowed me to be able to be here and be present and understand that this thing happened to me, but it doesn't define me. And so that's the most important thing, because like Monique, when I first was diagnosed, I was in such a place where I was like, I can't believe this is my life. Like, why me? Out of all the things I have done in life, and as much as I help people, why me? Like, I've never smoked. So to have a lung disease is like, how can I have this lung disease where my lungs are not functioning barely at all? I could hardly say my name. But in a sense, I had to realize in a dark time that this calm came over me that said, I needed to show you that you've done what you needed to do in the chapters that you had before. Now I'm opening you up to something new. And so that's why I continue to do this work and continue to speak and share my story, because this is the new purpose. Within my faith, he restored me. He showed me that I could be elevated on a different level. I revamped myself, used the tools that I've already learned in the research and things that I was already doing to just invent myself differently. And so if anyone out there is experiencing something like that, where they are diagnosed with something later in life and they just feel like their life has been ripped from them, this is your opportunity to rebuild, revamp, and relaunch yourself into something new. So don't be despair. I know that days can feel dark, but there's always light once you get to the other side of the tunnel.
Well, I think we finished with the questions. So now I want you all to give your closing comments.
All right. So I would like to say, if you are someone with lupus, if you are someone with pulmonary fibrosis, if you are someone with Sjogren's autoimmune disease, and I name those because I have those all, this conference is for you. If you know someone who is battling an autoimmune disease, purchase a ticket and gift it to them. We want to make sure that we are touching the lives of many. And it doesn't only have to be those who are directly impacted, because our family goes through these illnesses along with us. So for those who are supporting us from the sidelines, we say thank you, but we also want to open the doors to you. So if you haven't gotten a ticket already, please go to the website. Please purchase a ticket. Please show up for us in the way that we have always shown up for everyone else.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, Monique, your closing.
I will also add to that. One, Dr. Lyndia, I want to say thank you for you opening up your platform for us to be able to get the message out there. I don't take that lightly. I don't take that for granted. So I want to say, one, extend my thanks for allowing us to come up here and share and put the word out there today. And I am echoing Dr. Zenia's message. Ladies, I know those of you who have been complaining and saying I can't find anyone who understands how I feel, what I'm going through, or who can relate to my walk. ladies, you can no longer say that because we have just opened up a platform for you to be able to find your sisters to come and join and lock arms with us so that you no longer have to walk out this journey alone. And we also want to provide a safe haven for the family members because I know that you cannot do this alone. So for those husbands, for those children, for those friends, those caretakers who are here for you every step of the way, we invite you to join us to come out as well. And also for those, we invite you to be a part of the history, not just witness it, but to actually have your name and part of our anthology project. We are in pre-sales, and up to March 9th, for those who buy the book, you will also be included in this project in our special acknowledgement section for showing your support. So those who go ahead and purchase that book by March 9th, we want to make sure that we acknowledge you seeing this mission, supporting us, and acknowledge you as such so that you can be a part of history, which this project is going to be. So we would love to have you with open arms. Go ahead and get your tickets so that we can celebrate you and you can celebrate with us. And I am looking forward to May 16th to be able to put this project on and be able to see all the women who God is going to be blessing, as well as the men, all of those who are so inclined to attend far as and be in the midst. So that's just open invitation to just go to the website, get your anthology, get your copy as well as your ticket, and we can't wait to receive you.
Well, I want to invite you all to send me a press release, and I want to write about you in my column as well, because now that I know more about this topic, I want to put it in the Washington Informer. You know, they have more than 50,000 readers, and my column is syndicated. It goes out all over the country. So because it's not until May, if we could put it in this week or next week, I'd have to send it in on Sunday. So if you send me everything I need, a press release and a little bit on each speaker, the anthology, the reason for it, everything, all the details. And then if I have more questions, I can include some of what you all said on here, or I can call you. But I want to do a column in the newspaper to help promote it because it's such a worthy cause.
We definitely appreciate
thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes,
a lot of people read my column. I've been writing it for 20 years. So yes, ma'am, it's going to be good.
I appreciate that. And that's what I said when I say as far as walking in obedience, because I said, God, we need local news coverage. Yes. I need just align the context. So this is what I mean as far as when you walk by faith on an assignment that God has called to, he is going to connect those dots. You don't have to search. You just need to open your mouth and put it out there. So thank you again, Dr. Lyndia.
Because you're not the only two sick. And look at me. I'm out here. My daughter said all I do is try to work mine away. And I have, but I've been divorced over 30 some years. And I just worked harder, found other ways to use myself to do more. And although that's good, I'm finding out that I still need some treatment for this mental stuff that happened from that PTSD from him choking me. I do. And I didn't know it. I thought I had overcome that. So
well, we know better, we do better. So a lot of people mistake that time means healing, but you need to put in some actual work towards that healing and not just let time pass by and consider yourself healed.
All right. Well, thank you for being my guest today, ladies. I look forward to writing about you in my column. Thank you for being on the Lyndia Grant Show today.
Thank you for listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.